New tonight, more than a decade has passed since a high school principal in South Dakota was shot by one of his own students. The shooting shook the community of Harrisburg. On September 30th, 2015, 16-year-old Mason Bull arrived at Harrisburg High School armed with a gun, 50 bullets, and a plan to kill the school's principal. Tonight, and for the first time, that principal recounts the day his life changed forever. KTV's Kaylee Dom sat down with Dr. Kevin Lean to hear his story and what he's doing to make a difference today.
He stepped back and he cocked it, and I saw the bullet go into the chamber.
What happened that day continues to shape Dr. Kevin Lean's life.
He came at me again. I got my arm up. It went through my elbow, my bicep, hit me in the chest, and knocked me to the floor.
Even 10 years later,
I started yelling for lockdown, 911.
it was homecoming week. 16-year-old Mason Buell, a recent transfer to Harrisburg High School in South Dakota, ended up in the principal's office.
I left it with him, just said, hey, we'll talk on Monday.
That conversation never happened.
Monday morning, I missed speaking with him.
The next day, Buell brought a gun to school and confronted Lean.
Pulled out a gun and pointed at my head and pulled the trigger, and it malfunctioned. It didn't work, and I thought maybe it was some sort of toy.
Lean says Buell cocked the gun again and fired one shot.
Mason ran.
Assistant Principal Ryan Rollinger ran after him.
Mr. Rollinger, like the hero he was, should not have ran after him, but did. Ran after him and tackled him as he was trying to get out the front door.
Lean survived the shooting with only minor injuries.
Miraculously, the bullet head went through my joint capsule, didn't do anything.
That day haunts Lean, not because it was the day he was shot by a student, but because it was the day, he says, as an educator, he failed a student.
I mean, there's still get a little emotional. Somehow we failed him, and our ability to make sure that we touch hearts and turn souls, there's nothing more important in our positions as educational leaders and as educators.
Lean forgave Buell immediately.
My deep prayers to Mason, my deep prayers to his family. It's really going to be a tragic road for them, I'm sure.
Buell was taken into custody and faced attempted murder charges. His only advocate in court was Dr. Kevin Lean.
I felt that this young man still needed another chance.
Lean believed in treatment over punishment.
I'm pretty adamant that we can change the systems and that we can prevent these things from happening by changing systems so that students feel hope.
Systems that 10 years later, he is still trying to change. In Harrisburg, South Dakota, Kaylee Doms, KTIV News 4.
As for the shooter, Mason Buell pleaded guilty to the attempted murder of Dr. Kevin Lean in 2017. He was first sentenced to 25 years in a South Dakota state prison. A judge suspended that sentence and gave Buell 15 years supervised probation. That meant he wouldn't spend any more time behind bars unless the judge determined he entered into violent behavior. In July of 2021, Buell was charged with 3 counts of second-degree rape and domestic simple assault. He was also charged with violating his probation. He was set to go to trial in 2023, but that was canceled following a plea deal. As part of the deal, Buell pleaded no contest to the domestic assault charge, and the 3 rape charges were dismissed. As a result, the attempted murder case involving Dr. Kevin Lean was reopened. A judge then sentenced Buell to 10 years in a South Dakota state prison with 702 days credited for time already served. Mason Buell was released on parole October 2025, where he currently remains.